Asking for help at the library. Welcome to our lesson on asking for help at the library. Today, we will learn how to ask for help when you visit a library. Libraries are great places to read books, study, and find information. Sometimes, you might need help from a librarian. Don't worry. Librarians are friendly people who are there to help you. Let's start with a common situation. Imagine you walk into a library for the first time. You see many bookshelves and computers. You're not sure where to go or what to do. This is a perfect time to ask for help. First, look for the information desk. It's usually near the entrance. You'll see a librarian sitting there. Walk up to the desk and say, "Excuse me." This is a polite way to get someone's attention. The librarian will look at you and smile. Now you can ask your question. For example, you can say, "I'm new here. Can you help me?" The librarian will be happy to help. They might say, "Of course. What do you need help with?" You can tell them what you're looking for. Maybe you want to find a specific book. You can say, "I'm looking for a book about dogs." The librarian will show you where to find books about animals. If you want to borrow a book, you'll need a library card. You can ask, "How do I get a library card?" The librarian will explain the process. They might say, "You need to fill out a form and show some ID." Sometimes, you might need help using the computers. You can ask, "Can you show me how to use the computer?" The librarian will be glad to help you log in and search for information. If you're doing research for school, you can ask for help too. Say something like, "I'm working on a school project about plants. Where can I find information?" The librarian can show you books, magazines, or websites about plants. Remember, it's okay to ask more than one question. Librarians are there to help you. If you don't understand something, you can say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you explain that again?" They will be happy to explain things more clearly. Now, let's talk about some other things you might need help with at the library. Maybe you're looking for a quiet place to study. You can ask, "Is there a quiet study area?" The librarian can show you to a study room or a quiet corner of the library. If you need to print some documents, you can ask, "How do I print from the computer?" The librarian will explain how to use the printer and how much it costs to print. Sometimes, you might need help finding a specific section of the library. For example, if you're looking for cookbooks, you can ask, "Where is the cookbook section?" The librarian will point you in the right direction or even walk you there. If you're interested in joining a book club or attending a library event, you can ask about that too. Try saying, "Do you have any book clubs or events coming up?" The librarian can tell you about upcoming activities at the library. Maybe you're learning English and want to find books that are easy to read. You can ask, "Do you have any books for people learning English?" The librarian can show you books with simple language or even audio books to help you practice. If you need to use the internet but don't have a computer, you can ask about that. Say, "Can I use a computer here?" The librarian will explain how long you can use a computer and if you need to sign up for a time slot. Sometimes, you might need help finding a specific author. You can ask, "Where can I find books by Stephen King?" The librarian can show you where to find books by your favorite authors. If you're looking for magazines or newspapers, you can ask about those too. Try saying, "Where are your magazines and newspapers?" The librarian will show you where to find the latest news and magazines. Maybe you need a quiet place to make a phone call. You can ask, "Is there a place where I can make a phone call?" The librarian might show you to a private area or explain the library's policy on phone calls. If you're interested in local history, you can ask about that. Say, "Do you have any books about the history of our town?" The librarian can show you to the local history section. Remember, librarians are experts at finding information. If you're not sure what you're looking for, you can explain your situation. For example, "I'm trying to learn how to fix my car. What kind of books would help me?" The librarian can suggest books on car repair or even find online resources for you. If you're a parent looking for children's books, you can ask for help too. Try saying, "Where is the children's section?" The librarian can show you where to find books for kids of all ages. Don't forget that libraries often have more than just books. You might be able to borrow movies, music, or even things like tools or musical instruments. You can ask, "What other things can I borrow besides books?" The librarian will be happy to explain all the services the library offers. Now, let's practice some more situations where you might need to ask for help at the library. Imagine you're looking for a specific book, but you can't find it on the shelves. You can go to the librarian and say, "I'm looking for a book called The Great Gatsby, but I can't find it. Can you help me?" The librarian might check their computer system and tell you if the book is available or if someone has borrowed it. If the book is not available, you can ask, "Can I put this book on hold?" This means you want the library to save the book for you when it's returned. The librarian will explain how to do this. Sometimes you might need help with research. For example, if you're writing a paper about climate change, you can ask, "I need to find reliable sources about climate change. Where should I look?" The librarian can show you how to use databases or find trustworthy websites for your research. If you're interested in learning a new language, many libraries have language learning resources. You can ask, "Do you have any materials for learning Spanish?" The librarian can show you language learning books, CDs, or even online programs that the library offers. Maybe you're looking for a specific type of book, like graphic novels or poetry. You can ask, "Where can I find your graphic novels?" Or, "Do you have a poetry section?" The librarian will guide you to the right area. If you're a student, you might need help with citations for your papers. You can ask, "Can you help me understand how to cite my sources?" The librarian can show you guides or explain different citation styles. Sometimes, libraries offer special services like 3D printing or music recording studios. You can ask, "What special services does this library offer?" The librarian will be happy to tell you about all the unique things you can do at the library. If you're job hunting, many libraries have resources to help. You can ask, "Do you have any resources for job seekers?" The librarian might show you books on resume writing, offer access to job search websites, or tell you about job fairs at the library. For people interested in genealogy, studying family history, libraries often have special resources. You can ask, "Do you have any genealogy resources?" The librarian can show you how to access ancestry databases or find local history records. If you're a writer working on a book, you might want to know about self-publishing options. You can ask, "Do you have any information about self-publishing?" The librarian can point you to books or workshops on this topic. Some libraries lend out unusual items like museum passes or even cake pans. You can ask, "What unusual items does this library lend out?" You might be surprised by what you can borrow. If you're new to the area, the library can be a great resource. You can ask, "Do you have any information about local attractions or community events?" The librarian can provide you with local guides or community calendars. For students or professionals who need to make presentations, some libraries have equipment you can use. You can ask, "Do you have any presentation equipment I can use, like projectors?" The librarian can tell you what's available and how to reserve it. If you're interested in art, many libraries have art books or even artwork you can borrow. You can ask, "Do you have any art books or prints I can borrow?" The librarian can show you the art section or explain how to borrow artwork. For music lovers, libraries often have sheet music or instrument learning resources. You can ask, "Do you have any sheet music or resources for learning to play an instrument?" The librarian can guide you to these materials. If you're interested in local government, libraries often keep public records. You can ask, "Do you have access to local government records or meeting minutes?" The librarian can show you how to find this information. Some libraries offer technology classes. You can ask. Do you offer any classes on using computers or smartphones? The librarian can tell you about upcoming classes or workshops. If you're a teacher, libraries often have resources for educators. You can ask. Do you have any special resources for teachers? The librarian can show you teaching materials or explain how to get a teacher's library card. For people with visual impairments, libraries usually offer large print books or audiobooks. You can ask. What resources do you have for people with visual impairments? The librarian can show you these special collections. If you're interested in local authors, you can ask. Do you have a section for local authors? Many libraries like to showcase writers from their community. Remember, no question is too small or too big for a librarian. They are there to help you find information and make the most of the library's resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help, even if you're not sure how to phrase your question. Librarians are skilled at helping people find what they need, even if they're not sure what that is at first. As we come to the end of our lesson, let's review some key phrases you can use when asking for help at the library. Excuse me, can you help me? I'm looking for, where can I find? How do I? Can you show me how to? Do you have any resources for? Is there a section for? What services does the library offer for? I'm not sure where to start. Can you help me find information about? Can you explain how to? Practice these phrases and you'll feel more comfortable asking for help at the library. Remember, every question you asked helps you learn more. Libraries are wonderful places full of knowledge, and librarians are there to help you access that knowledge. Thank you for listening to this lesson on asking for help at the library. I hope you feel more confident about visiting a library and asking for help. Libraries are amazing places with so much to offer, and now you have the tools to make the most of your library visits. Good luck with your English learning journey, and enjoy your time at the library.